I love East Preston. I love West Sussex too. I think it's the best county in England. It's great.
Flying the flag for West Sussex.
That's
And
it.
what is it you love so much about East Preston then?
I like the countryside. I mean, I've lived in Cornwall and I've lived in Yorkshire, and they're supposed to have pretty good places to go and look at. But West Sussex does it for me. It's gorgeous, lovely little villages and rolling hills. It's got everything. A little church. It's lovely. East Preston's by the sea as well. I like to be by the sea. I mean, I go out on my bike, cycle around. I normally end up just sitting on the beach and relaxing. I go in the sea as well at this time of the year.
Tell us about you. You've been working on this new album.
Yeah.
And we're going to play a track from that very shortly today. Based on a true story.
Yes.
So just tell us more about this album, because it's unique because vinyl is making a comeback, as we know.
It is.
And you've got this on vinyl, and if you get this, you can get a download code if you want to download it digitally. But tell me the workings on this album, the thinking behind it.
Well, I mean, I hope that vinyl's coming back. That's what they say, And sometimes people say, oh, well, I haven't got a record player. You hear that quite a lot. But, it has got a download code.
They're starting to make them again now.
Record players.
Yeah, because it is in demand now. More and more people are buying it.
Well, there's just so many reasons why vinyl is better than... When CDs came out, we all thought they were smashing, didn't we? But I think that was because... Well, the conspiracy theory is the corporations that were bringing out CDs were making sure that the vinyl was losing quality. If you remember, they got flimsier and flimsier, and you ended up with this floppy disk, and the quality was terrible. And then CDs came out, and everybody went, wow, listen to that. There's no scratching or hissing. It's wonderful. And we all bought loads of CDs. But now the technology's really improved for vinyl. I honestly think it does sound better. In retrospect, CDs, they said they wouldn't jump and they'd last forever, but they do, don't they? They do that stuttering thing. So
let's look at the actual songs that you've got on here.
Okay.
How long have you been working on the album? When did you start writing the songs?
Well, it has been a labour of love, and it has actually taken me a couple of years to put it all together. And the reason it's called Based on a True Story is because a lot of the songs are stories that are based on actual events that have happened to me. So it's been inspired by things that have happened to me.
And are these things across, personal life, or all to do with
Everything.
your time with Squeeze music?
There's some sort of personal things that have happened to me on family life, and there's some things that happened to me while I've been on the road with Squeeze. It's all down there. I mean, some songs are loosely based on that, and some of the songs were inspired by poems and films and what have you. I take my inspiration from wherever I can.
And when you're in a band like Squeeze, you've got a team of people there who are very capable of writing songs. Was it sometimes a bit of a competition, maybe, to see who could actually come up with the hit, or was that not the thinking behind it?
Well, I mean, it's very true what you've said there. You've got Difford and Tilbrook, double Ivor Novello award-winning songwriters. Now, when you've got a merchandise shop, when you're on tour with Squeeze and you've got a merchandise shop, people go in and there's Squeeze records and there's Glenn Tilbrook's solo album, Chris Difford's solo album, then you've got my solo album. What are people going to think? Well, shall I get the one by John Bentley, or shall I get the one by the Ivor Novello? Well, I think I might buy a Squeeze album. So it's not so much competition, but what I put up there has got to be very high quality to match alongside, to stand up to the standard of their songwriting, because they're proven songwriters. I really worked hard on the lyrics for this album. I'm very proud of it, and I think I've done a good job.
Now, I know you started out as the bassist with Squeeze, but what other instruments do you play then? Because I know you play quite a few.
Well, I've probably due to sort of making this album, I've improved no end on drums and piano. I play a bit of guitar, so I do it all apart from the wind instruments.
Right.
I can play a bit of harmonica, but there's no harmonica on this album.
Tell me, Chris Difford, he's actually been involved with the sleeve notes.
Yeah, he very kindly agreed to write the sleeve notes, and they're very amusing and very well written, as you would expect from such a great writer as Chris Difford. I was very privileged to get him to write a sleeve note on there.
Well, we're going to hear a track from it now. I was going to ask you, actually, before we hear something, are there any kind of Squeeze influences on this, or have you made a point of just really separating the two and doing your own
Sort
thing?
of unavoidable, having played with Squeeze on and off for I don't know, 14 years or something now. It's
Yeah.
been a long time. But, of course, Squeeze in turn are influenced by people like the Beatles or whoever as well. So it's like a chain, isn't it, you know?
Well, we'll talk more about Squeeze in a minute, but let's hear something from this album right now then, John. I know it's always a very difficult thing to ask, especially when you've got something and you're very proud of it, but is there a track that you'd like us to play today that you think, right, that's the one I want to hear on the radio?
Well, I'd quite like to play one with Martin, featuring Martin Winning on sax, so we'll go with Closing Time.
And just give me a bit of a setup for this. What's the track about?
It's about alcoholism.
You know it's such a drag. All good things come to an end. Tomorrow you'll be back. You've been down this road before. I guess you paid your dues. And as you stagger to the door, I think you've blown a fuse. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, 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 yeah. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do? You better play the blues. It's been a long, long time. It seems like yesterday. You gotta leave it all behind so it don't get in your way. You can't take it anymore after all that you've been through. And now there's no one left to pour. It's time for you to choose. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, 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 yeah. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do? You better play the blues. When all the rivers have run dry, we'll climb that mountain